I'm here today with Virtuous Mountain Woman. The purpose of this video today is to show you the basic features of a modern chainsaw. Okay, let's just start with by turning it around so you can see this is the pull start. This is the same on any chainsaw, you get a pull start like that. That's what used to start the engine. And here you have the choke, which you must use when you're starting the saw from cold. And on this particular model and on many new chainsaws, what you do is pull that out. It's on a spring, and then you lift it and it locks in place. And when you do the pull start, as soon as it fires, squeeze the throttle. And that pops it back, as you can see, pops it back down to where it should be. Sometimes it's a good idea to use the priming bubble here, which is like a little rubber transparent bubble, which you press in maybe 7 times, and what that does, it lifts the fuel up to the carburetor. Also on this side we have the fuel filler cap. I run this saw on 45:1. You can run it on 50, but I like a little bit more oil in the saw. And this cap here is for the chain lubrication oil. It's important always to make sure that you keep this full of oil, and generally speaking it'll run through one tank of gas will be 1 fill of oil in here. If you don't, you have to lubricate the chain because it travels around at like 14,500 revolutions a minute. That generates a lot of friction on here. And what that can do is, when you run the chain dry, it gets extremely hot, takes the tempering off your blade and puts a lot of strain on the motor because it needs a lubrication. So that's the purpose of the oil. This is the chain brake. This is a very important piece of modern chainsaws, a very important safety feature. Before you start the saw, always push that forward until it clicks, and you can hear it click then. But once the saw's starting, you're ready to start cutting the wood and ready to start accelerating the saw with the throttle. You pull this back, you hear it click again. The idea of the chain brake is if the saw kicks back like this, your wrist pushes this forward and it instantaneously stops the bar. So it's an amazing safety feature. Not of major importance, but this saw does have as do many modern saws, has a decompressor on it. This simply reduces the compression in the cylinder and makes it easier to start. For a smaller person without much strength, it's probably a good idea to use it, but the downside of that, it can make them a little bit harder to start, and you probably have to pull it a few more times as it's sucking in more air into the cylinder. So those are the basic features of this saw, and some other saws have slightly different features, and if we do a film one day of other saws, I shall explain the differences on the other saws.
Okay, so what I've learned, I've taken some notes because I feel that one of the biggest thing of safety and apprehension and nervousness is about knowing the saw. So from my instructor today, I've learned that this is the pull start. So I don't know if I do that first, or let me just talk the parts that I've learned today, then we can ask the instructor when I get onto the saw, I start it, what's the first thing I do. But let's just start with this. It's a pull start. This is a choke. See, I'm hoping that you see that. That's the choke, sorry, the choke. And when you start it from cold, you pull it up. And you lift.
Pull it out and
pull it
up.
out.
Lift.
You pull it out and lift. I've written it down in my notes. Yeah, pull it down and lift.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
It must stay out like that.
It must stay out.
Yes.
there.
But to release it, you press the throttle.
To release it, you press the, yeah. So let me just talk what I know first, and then let me go around it. Okay, the choke, you pull it out and you lift it.
Yes.
Okay, then there's a pull start. Bam, bam. Then there's a priming bubble. I'm using my notes at the moment. The priming bubble is just there, above, just at the corner there. To pull it, you think about 7 times. And then there's a fuel filter cap. The
Fuel filler, not fuel filter.
Fuel cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Filler. Fuel filler cap. And then the cap this is where you put the chain lubrication oil.
No. That's where you put the fuel in. The
fuel filler cap. That's for the fuel.
Yeah, and it has to be
fuel.
It has to be the recommended fuel to oil ratio.
Okay, and then the cap chain for the lubrication, which is nearer. It makes sense. It's nearer where the chain is, right? That's a cap chain for lubrication oil, and again you have to use a recommended oil. And the reason is because the chain is going around at such a ratio so fast, and it gets so hot, it needs something it's lubricating the chain. And then the next thing I learned is about the chain brake, the chain brake, which has to be, it's a safety thing. You put it right down. I think so. It's down. Yeah,
it's clicked.
Once
it's clicked, it's
so
down
it's down before starting. Yeah, so it must always be down. Okay. And it's linked to the throttle somehow, but never mind. So the next thing is I've learned about.
It's not linked to the throttle.
Is the throttle.
It's not, the chain brake is not linked to the throttle.
Yeah, okay, got that wrong.
Yeah,
we're going to keep on filming though. We got that wrong. Chain brake is not linked to the throttle. Yeah. It's linked to the saw stopping that from
stops the chain
rotating until you're ready for it to rotate. Okay. So then the next thing is the throttle. Before starting using throttle, take the brake off. So before you're going to use the throttle, you take the brake off. So you go like this.
Pull back.
And you got to feel it. Absolutely, that was nice and sweet. I felt that pull back, and that's when you begin to. As soon as that is off, then you begin to use the throttle, and the throttle is here. Right under my fingers go right underneath the throttle like that. So that's the parts of the chainsaw. I would like the instructor to just tell me again what I need to do when I. Okay, so the gear that I'm wearing, it's these are called to protect the legs from chainsaw accidents. If the instructor would explain.
Yeah, well, chainsaw is obviously a very dangerous tool. It's not like cutting yourself with a knife, or even for that matter with an axe. It's usually a cut with a chainsaw is major trauma, and the legs, because you're cutting downwards with the saw, your legs are usually the part that you're going to have a bad injury or fatal injury with. So these chainsaw pants are specially designed with a almost like a glass fibre filling between the 1000 denier nylon. So if the saw chain accidentally hits your leg, what it does, it pulls the fiberglass out of the chainsaw chaps, and it tangles inside the chain and stops the chain almost as fast as the chain brake. So that's the idea of the chaps. That's why they're very important to wear chaps, particularly if you're not an experienced sawyer.
Okay, and the next thing with a chainsaw is wearing the helmet. I think if the instructor will explain it, I'll put the helmet on.
Yeah, well, there's a few I mean, there's the reason for wearing a helmet, particularly in dense forests like here, is that quite often there's dead branches or twigs high up in the trees, and of course when you fall in trees you're looking up all the time, but sometimes something will fall off and your head is the first thing that's going to catch it, right?
Okay.
So I mean
So I'll put the other thing is.
So it
is
has just a moment. It has I mean, like
I've got it.
Yeah, like any safety helmet, it's got like a webbing inside to give it more cushion if anything strikes it.
Okay.
Now we can talk about the
and then the ear. Once I put the ear things over, it sounds like I'm in a bubble.
Yeah.
So I heard that one.
Yeah.
Both sides are clicked.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously a chainsaw makes a noise, and it tells you on how many decibels it makes. I think this one. I'm just trying to see if this one does say on it. Maybe it doesn't. But anyway, they usually, like a quieter chainsaw will be 80 something decibels, and a noisy chainsaw will be over 100. But nevertheless, that amount of noise over a sustained period will definitely contribute to hearing loss. So that's why you should wear those when you're operating a chainsaw.
And then another piece of the chainsaw which is important for safety.
The safety helmet. Yeah, talking about the safety helmet, not the chainsaw. So yeah, this is a mesh guard. This stops chips and twigs flying into your face, which can cause facial wounds or
eyes.
More in particular eye injuries. So that's the idea of the mesh guard. They're quite good at mesh guards because unlike plastic or perspex guards, they steam up in cold weather, but the mesh guard doesn't do that, so they're quite good. You also have a little visor on, because often when you're cutting in summer you don't want to be blinded by the sun, so it's good to have a little peak on the helmet as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm hoping that I believe this video is of real value, not only for me but for anyone who's trying to learn the chainsaw. Yes, it's frightening, but I feel that, I know that by understanding the chainsaw, by knowing your way around it, by asking questions, being safe, cuts out a lot of the anxiety around being around the chainsaw and using it. So it's like, know your chainsaw, know your parts. Thank you for joining me today. Virtuous Mountain Woman, sort of give some heads up or some comments about this video and anything else that you'd like to see in doing with the chainsaw and my learning journey as well. This is a learning journey for me with my instructor. Thank you very much for joining, and see you on the next video.